printers and vinyl cutters and all kinds of materials and supplies. But that's just stuff. The best thing we have is people, really cool, talented, and friendly people. So if you're into cosplay, programming, electronics, maybe microwaves, AI-powered microwaves. We've got it all, and we'd love to have you back if you're here for the first time. So thank you for coming. That looks like a thing.
Yes.
Okay. What other cool things are happening? Oh, we will be having a launch party.
Yeah, we have a whole slide for that later.
Okay, well, teaser. There's a launch party in the future. What's that?
There's cookies next door.
There's cookies.
Cookies.
What's up?
What? Oh yeah, if you want to tell people.
Oh sure. Yeah. We've got some new neighbors that are already a million times more friendly than our old neighbors. So it's going to be a really good spot.
There are neighbors.
What's that?
I said there are neighbors.
There are neighbors, yeah. Walter's Works. Walter was here, and we can actually order from the space, and they'll deliver it here, which is really nice. I've got ice cream, a few savory foods, even some boba and coffee, very important, and of course our friendly pizza parlor.
Why don't we, for anybody who has been, for everybody who's a member, make some noise if you're a member. Does anybody want to share like what club they're in or what they like to do when they come here? Put you on the spot. No, everybody hates it here, and nobody should ever come back. Yeah, Blake, go for it.
I am a part of cosplay club. I like to make like cosplay, especially from video games. Or I also come here to. I've been making different accessories and art pieces. I don't.
Yeah.
Why do you keep coming back? Why?
Because it's fun and the people are cool and Max is helpful and well actually all the people in cosplay club are helpful.
The Max is especially helpful
for making cosplays and stuff.
Awesome.
It's a lot easier to work when there are other people working on stuff around.
Do you do some cosplay now?
Coming soon.
Coming soon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Allie, you just missed the people I was telling you about like by maybe half an hour. But she was here making Carly,
Carly
is making a full like satyr suit, and she built hooves out of she molded them out of monster clay, and then made like silicone mold of them, and then resin cast or polyurethane cast hooves onto the bottom of her high heel shoes. And now she's like sewing together like fur pants that she'll be wearing to Ren Fair, I think, next weekend. So if you see a green satyr with a really awesome costume, that's Carly, and you should say hi.
Carly is basically a master fursuit creator and is like 22 or something. Yeah, she's just a savant and very friendly. So she is a staple of the space. Almost. I can keep talking. Let's see. Who else?
Nathaniel, what are you working on?
Yeah, magic.
Oh God.
Great.
Oh, you have a whole smattering in front of you.
I have my toys. I have toys. I made toys. I'm Nathaniel. I'm a magician, but I also love doing weird 3D printed things. So come find me, and I play with my toys. They're like magnets. And I really like coming here. This is a really cool space because everyone is really creative and really focused on whatever thing that they're doing, and it's really great and inspiring to see just what possibilities you maybe didn't consider. And so there's just it's such a great community, and there's just so many things at your disposal. And so I encourage you to just get to chat with other people and see what they're doing, because you might be come up with something else that you want to do too. So is that good?
You passed.
I passed. Okay,
You
good.
get membership. Yeah.
Okay,
That was the
cool.
test.
But Thursday's putting up soon. But
Even just like last week, one of our, I love everyone who shows up, but Jacob is also designing his own custom board game that he's been working on for like 2 years. So we've been play testing it, which is really exciting. And like it's still paper craft right now, but we're I'm like we're gonna 3D print stuff and laser cut all of his tiles. It's this isn't private. It's a procedurally generated, cooperative, basically PVE board game.
That was the most like Silicon Valley.
I'm using his language.
So
it's AI powered. There's a little crypto. There's some crypto in there. Yeah, there's the block. Oh, so much blockchain. Hey, welcome. Yeah. Did you come to our old space?
No.
Okay. How did you find it? Oh, right. Because you have
This
to make
is
a
your
meetup.
first time at Social Medium. Give a cheer. Awesome. Make sure maybe while we finish up, if you're sitting next to somebody you haven't introduced yourself to yet, now's a good chance. Introduce yourself. Take a second, start a conversation. We'll stop having a awkward group conversation. And you can just introduce yourself to somebody you haven't met yet.
Are you saying you're sick of my improvised banter with everyone?
If you want more of DJ's improvised banter, in 2 weeks we have Maker Melee. Maker Melee is one of my favorite events that we do here. It's if anybody's done like a hackathon, it's kind of like that. If you haven't done a hackathon, it's kind of like Great British Bake Off, but instead of baking, we do making. Yeah.
The Great British the Great British Make Off. Why don't we just steal that?
Because we're American.
It doesn't even
Don't tell anybody that.
We could just cross out British.
Yeah.
The Great Make Off.
I feel like legal will have some problems with that.
We have so much brand. We're doing droid building on May the 4th.
Droid is a public domain word.
Star
Star Wars does not own the word droid. I
don't know if you
know.
call them
They don't own
droids.
droids. They don't own droids.
Yeah, well, they're going to be little R2D2s.
They're not R2D2s. They are droids that happen to be half ball shaped. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay.
But there will be more on that.
Anyway, copyright infringement is on the table. Infringe on all the copyrights you want.
Yeah.
You don't
Except
care.
the stream.
You good? Awesome. All right. Give it up for Stephanie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, my name is Stephanie, and I modified a microwave to work with ChatGPT. So basically, I didn't want to read instructions. I guess I didn't want to know how long I should cook food for. So instead, the microwave, when I close the door, it takes a picture. It sends it to ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT knows how long to cook for, and then sends it back to the microwave, and hopefully it gets it right. So it has gotten it right, and one of like my favorite things that happened when I was testing this is that it also knows when it shouldn't cook. I tested with a Sharpie and with like a can of Coke, and it was just like, you shouldn't be cooking a Sharpie, so I'm gonna cook for 0 seconds. So I thought that was really cool that it knew, and sorry that there was a lot of setup because the last time I used it, I 3D printed a case for the camera that's on top, but it sort of melted because I used PLA, and so now setting the camera up is like kind of like a pain because it's not perfectly placed and it's a very, very small hole that the camera can see through. And so right now I have it with tape. Hopefully I checked, it looks like it's fine, but we'll see. And then so that's the one kink that I had to fix. And the other one is I made a video about this project, and I accidentally showed my ChatGPT API key, like part of it for a split second, and then the other part of it for another split second, different parts of the video. And somehow people put it together and they stole it and they start using it. So I just like turned it off. And then when I had to present, I was like, oh, wait, I have to turn it back on. And it's supposed to work. I think it will. I tested it on Thursday. We'll see. So that being said, I brought some stuff we can microwave. I brought some mini pizza bagels, a burrito. And then also I brought some foil to test how it knows it shouldn't cook. I don't know if any preferences on what you... And also we can microwave whatever we have here. Stuff should go, right?
Soda can.
You want to start with that? Okay.
Yeah, let's see if it'll microwave a soda can.
Let's do it. Oh, and I took the plate off because it has a lot, like it has like burnt stuff on it. And I'm worried that ChatGPT is not gonna know what that is, so I don't want it in the picture. So, right, I'm gonna run the script and I hope it works. And I have this on so we can see, we're gonna see here what ChatGPT says it thinks it is, and the time it's gonna send. And then also I wanna open the picture it takes so we can all see it. So, okay. Here it goes. Please work. Oh, also like, the light might be, taking a picture of food. Okay. I can also just unplug it.
Oh, 30 seconds.
Not my
So I took it for a second.
It's already fine that.
It did recognize it as a can. But it's just decided it.
Okay. I'm
Awesome.
I'm not. So I'm gonna kill this. Start again. No worry. No panic. Okay. So. The foil shirt. Let's just foil.
Some of the things you don't cook.
That's what we want.
Yeah, foil's fun. I think just like we can do just foil. We can also do like I brought a burrito. We can wrap it in foil and see if it,
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that idea.
Burrito and foil.
Burrito foil. Cool. Also, if you have any questions, please ask me questions. I can talk while I cook.
Do you want to tell people how you were testing it during a blackout?
I was here when there was a blackout, and as you lent me a Ryobi battery. No, like a Ryobi battery on a thing that you can plug stuff on. So
I'll send you the photo. I took a photo of you with two Ryobi batteries plugged into the microwave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Ryobi, and yeah, it worked pretty well. And my laptop was powering the monitor, so I was like the only thing that was keeping me. I had to go against time because my laptop doesn't last very long. So I was like, but it worked out. I think. Well, it was working.
Yeah.
And also, what we could do after this, like we can also all together play with the prompt that I send ChatGPT to hopefully get it better, because we can change the prompt of what we're asking, and it might actually not cook when it's not supposed to. So, like, I think because I've modified this so many times, I don't even remember what the prompt says. We can look at it.
Yeah.
And they don't open the doors closed so it wouldn't cook if the doors open, right?
Did you remove that safety?
No, it shouldn't cook when it's. It shouldn't. I don't think so. I have a cancel button here too, but this is the safest thing to do. Just I don't think.
No one's a fire marshal. That's good. We're good.
Okay, we have the burrito wrapped in foil. Oh, we're not even running. Oh. The script. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, wait, my light. Oh no!
Ah.
My phone. Why do you have my phone? Okay, how was this?
Yes.
And then it's crazy.
Seconds.
It used to work. I promise.
Oh no.
Okay, I will look at the prompt. I'm curious.
It's acknowledging the danger.
Yeah, exactly. You shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Totally shouldn't do what I'm about
I'm gonna do it for a minute and a half.
Okay, let's see what I have in.
It's like, we're not even like, well, it's just
It's the second part of the
Oh my
The
God.
safe way to do it is to keep people who having
I know.
So it's skipping
Okay.
the fire extinguisher right by the door. Sammy is also our safety officer, in addition to being our streaming supervisor. So, Sammy.
Oh, Sammy. Cool.
Yeah, so just in
This
case.
is all good, right?
This is how you unplug a microwave. So yeah, don't steal my API key, please.
Oh, wait.
Stop streaming.
Oh. Steal that. Pretty sure you can.
Wait, did people steal
We'll
it?
talk after.
Ben got a really nice
I know, but like,
No, but like it's
They can
cut
stream.
off.
They can
Oh,
use your
okay,
Because
okay.
I saved it.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's
okay.
gonna be long. I mean, I'll turn it off.
I can
I just didn't know what that meant when
Oh.
turning off an API. What does that mean?
Oh, okay. So an API stands for I can't remember. Anyone here? Do you remember? Anyone?
Application programming interface.
Thank you, Sammy. Wow.
Sammy is also our API.
He also judges magic. if anyone wants. Yeah, so it's for like software, like you, for example, OpenAI, they want programmers to play with ChatGPT, so they'll provide this thing where you can program it easier. If
Oh.
that makes sense. Like they give you like a library, like here's how you start it, or here's
Oh.
how you call it and stuff. So the API to have a project, you make a very special keys, and you have it. And because I pay OpenAI to be able to use it for this, it's like 10 cents or less. So it's
Oh.
really nice. So if you steal someone's API key, then you can use the service for free, I guess. So that's what happened.
You still 10 cents from you?
No, they stole $5. That meant like they ran it a lot. Because when I was testing, I think I tested this like 50 times, maybe 100 times. I don't know. And it was less than, 10 cents.
And then you have to
So-
turn it off.
Yeah, I can turn it off on I go on like OpenAI's website and I can just turn it off, the API key. So that people stop using my.
They couldn't like change your prompt for this. Could they like add some pre-code to anything else you send?
The people who stole the API key,
Mhm.
so they can use it for whatever they want.
So could they say on my next few attempts, just add an extra 2 minutes to my microwave?
No, they don't have the code to my microwave.
Oh.
So they have access to my credit card.
Oh.
That's it. Yeah, but not the microwave. Yeah. That if that code. So I'm gonna look for the prompt I send to ChatGPT somewhere here. Hold on, I don't remember. Okay, hold on. Microwave. Where is ChatGPT? Oh, here. So, this is the question I asked. It says, how long should I microwave this for? Oh, is that it? That's why. Is that all I asked? I thought I had a better question. Here. Okay, then I asked, because I have to call it twice. I can't, I asked it twice because, I wanted to only answer with like the seconds and not like the whole thing, if that makes sense. For the microwave doesn't care what check. So it says, I said, please tell me the time this food should microwave for in seconds with your best guess, no instructions, and just the number. The format will be exactly XXX, where X is the number of seconds between 0 and 999. No other text outputs besides this. I will give you more information after this. Just give me your best guess now. I am not looking for advice.
I have to do that every time I use.
Oh.
Advice. I just want info.
What's wrong? I put it is okay if you're wrong, but it's the best shot. And that's why. So I'm gonna change it to if I'm gonna tell it if you think it's dangerous, don't. Is that how you spell thing? Sorry, I'm too close. If you think it's dangerous. If you think it is dangerous to microwave, right? Okay, let's see if that works. So I'm gonna save it. And is that still in there? Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna run it. It's not this. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll plug in the. Oh, are you sure you want to find that?
Yeah, where's your party?
By the door.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's waiting for food. It's already in there, but to trigger it, I have to turn. I'm open and close the door. Wait. Taking a picture of. Okay. Please. It's microwave something wrapped in foil. Let's look at the picture.
Wow.
I'm kind of glad I had the code wrong. Maybe it's a better demo. Better payoff. Let's go. So you can tell that's foil.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that everything's pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Microwave's pink.
Well, yeah, but it's not pink because of that. It's like an infrared,
Hmm.
yeah, infrared camera. Yeah. But I'm giving it more light just in case. I think we have good light, but
Yeah, the spotlight's like blasting in.
yeah. So do you want to try something real now, or you want to keep giving
without
it
the foil.
without
Yeah,
the
let's
foil?
get a burrito.
Okay.
Eat the burrito.
Oh God.
See if it acknowledges it.
Well, like
Extra flavor.
no, because
They
it's
say you
supposed
want
to
that.
spin.
You'll
The-
get hot spots, otherwise
Oh,
you get
yeah.
stuff explode and boil.
I'm gonna try to. It's really gross.
You love alcohol?
Oh yeah.
If you wait for like 30 seconds when I watch
We have DJ, we have paper
Oh,
plates.
paper plates.
Yeah, wait.
Oh, but
Yeah,
it
we-
still needs to spin. You could.
No, we can put the paper
Oh
plate
my
on top.
gosh, you're so smart. Please have it. It's not
The paper plate.
Oh yeah. Oh.
great. Okay.
Also, I want to point out that we all just clap for a microwave not cooking. It's supposed to, but like,
It's like trying to teach your child.
I know, it's
Microwave the
just-
foil, you're proud of them when they
I just
learn.
want to appreciate the absurdity of the scenario we're all sharing.
That felt good. I've never had an audience when I chat.
You should become a Twitch streamer, like, and just have your whole audience touch. And then steal your API key.
No foil.
Or like right before. You can't like plug it in. No.
Oh, I had the door open. So I just all your stuff.
Yes, yes.
Wait.
Sure.
You're a second.
Oh.
Oh, maybe.
That was 2 seconds.
Tuesday.
Wow.
Wait. Oh. Oh, it's too dark. Maybe. Let's try with more light. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It says burrito.
Wait, I thought it said it doesn't know though. I just know what item you're. Oh, something like a burrito. A suggested burrito.
You just guessed.
Yeah.
Um,
That's like.
Tuesday.
Oh.
Tuesday.
Wow. Popcorn. We might still have some of your popcorn. Yeah.
I mean, I also have bagel bites, but I think like. Oh, no, that would be like. Yeah.
Maybe if it's not food. Or be more specific, say if there's foil or metal.
Oh, like, and well, then I would have to make a list.
Yeah.
Well, don't put any batteries in there.
Right.
You do get to control what you put in there.
I like the idea if you think it is not food.
But what if you tell it it's in a presentation you want to look impressive?
Don't make you look dumb.
Oh,
Okay. Oh, I need to. Okay.
Like
Now.
it's just guessing a burrito. Yeah.
I think this is a pretty.
That's probably why you had that last sentence that was like,
Just yes. Frozen pizza.
Yeah, it's really big.
Bagel bites.
Okay, big old bites. Okay.
Alright, the burrito's too nondescript.
It is.
Wait,
Yeah, the faster.
if you put it with the plastic, you think they're gonna recommend it. Right?
I shouldn't put it with plastic.
Well, I know you should,
Yeah.
but it won't recognize it because it's like clear, right?
I think it will still recognize what is in there. Yeah, with the plastic.
But it won't know that there's plastic on it.
Oh.
It shouldn't. That's
It
why-
might.
You want to try? Sure.
It might think the tray is not moving.
I'm glad you made microwaving easier.
Okay, so it's gonna take a picture before it's done. Maybe. No.
Okay.
Here, put her down.
Yeah.
It's just like.
Okay, so I can tell there's plastic. Good test. So we can tell, yeah, frozen pizza.
No, the countdown is.
Let's try it one more time without the plastic, and then I
And
think
then-
we'll go to the next.
Sounds great.
I could do this all night. I don't know.
I never want to push a button again.
Yeah.
Yeah, just he's screwed.
Right, I need to tell you, it's still cooking.
Oh, God. That's why.
Oh, no.
What on the counter?
It's, I think, because it was cooking and I killed it. It's gonna take some time. The final test, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Look,
Any-
how did you get
yeah,
this
any-
idea? Like, where did this idea come from?
Oh, well, in reality,
Yeah.
Alan was like, "Do you want to make a microwave that cooks at the time?" But then it just like spiraled into like, oh, what if it doesn't have any buttons? And like, I only use a 30-second button, and it was like, should I just close the door? It's just 30 seconds. But then, I mean, that's not great either. So I think I did Twitter, like when it takes a picture, but instead of ChatGPT, it says it to Twitter. And then people decide how long it should cook for, but then they burn the food. And then I was like, well, what if I pay people and use Mechanical Turk? And they also didn't know how long it should cook for, even though I was paying $1. and then ChatGPT was the only thing that worked sometimes. And you ask it right. And I think my Raspberry Pi needs to be restarted. Do we have time for that?
Yeah, yeah.
There's no microwaving.
We can put on time, and maybe after, if it's rebooted and stuff afterwards, we can try again.
Okay, yeah.
After the-
Sure. After everyone goes, we
Bagel
can
bite pizza
continue.
party
Yeah.
after the showtime.
Okay, let me just shut it down now.
Awesome. Well,
What's your name?
what?
You did you have? Do you want to say something?
Oh, I was gonna say we could plug the thing, but we'll wait till.
Oh, yeah, we can.
yeah. So now I could just plug the thing back in and see who's next. I think Savannah.
Yeah, Savannah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on up, Savannah.
Give it up.
Yeah. But
You're gonna need that, right?
yeah, we need to plug
so-
the TV back in. So
Yeah.
I can interpret Dan my slides.
Do
Yeah.
Fresh Prince rap.
Don't threaten.
God.
Ah,
It's because I'm on the spot.
That's actually really surprising.
No, I do, but I'm on the spot.
right?
I'm scared. I know.
Savannah, while you're waiting,
Yeah.
maybe do
Oh.
you want to stand over in the spotlight
Of
and tell
course.
people maybe what you did for your last two presentations, just so they can get a sense of what to expect from you.
Of course. Hello, everybody. My name is Savannah. I'm first off so excited to see how many new people are here, but also very nervous because when I do these, I do silly slideshows, and every time I've done them, it's like with people that I know and they're friends, and I just kind of goof off and I joke around. I think that they're still cool, and I'm really excited to show you all still. The last ones that I did, the first time I was doing show and tell, I did a presentation, a very graphically invested presentation on why Stephanie Tanner is the best of the three Full House sisters. And I'm obviously correct. You should have been there, but as you know, it's the right choice. And then,
Sorry,
That's the next one,
I'll be your next slide person.
that's okay. Thank you. And then the next one that I did was my celebrity death list is people that I don't like for very petty reasons, like Bobby Flay. And I think that one like a Kill Bill, like the list where she crosses off people. So that was really fun. This is the sister presentation to that one. It's the celebrity hit it list. This is my celebrity crush list. It's very vulnerable and something I expect to do in front of 6 people, not 30. But I'm so excited to be here anyway, so I hope to entertain you. So it is themed like Scott Pilgrim, and it is the 7 able exes or people that only my boyfriend can beat as the cutest on the block. So that is what we're doing today, and I'm so glad we're here. But do I just want to do the next slide?
Yes.
Okay. Next slide.
All right, you got it.
Some info and disclaimers because I take these very seriously. So these are people I cannot look at directly or I'll apparate into thin air. I would watch even a steaming pile of garbage movie if they were in it, and I have before. And I'm fully convinced they would be in love with me if life allowed, but it doesn't because the world cannot handle that sort of situation. So you can judge me for having the taste all you want, but very quietly. And that was a note from people that were close to me, but because you guys are fun and strangers, you can judge me loudly. It's fine. I welcome the commentary. I didn't realize until this presentation how many white people were on the list. The diversity factor is low. And I am being so vulnerable right now. This feels like sharing my diary, but I live to entertain. Please, next slide. So this is the key. The list order is irrelevant, but also everything. And there are 2 factors to the key. There's a cutie patootie level, very important. Is the heart amount. And it's just basically how sweet and nice I think they are. And then there's how much money I paid to be run over by a truck by them, which is the more. So we're doing in front of so many people. But yes, this is me, accept it. Okay. But yes, those are the 2 factors. And before we get started, please get next slide. This is our Scotch Pilgrim. This is my boyfriend, Chris. And he has defeated all of them. So he is the cutest on the block. He has earned his right. So this is him. Look how adorable he is. Thank you very much. And let's get started. Okay. Number 7. Who is it, DJ? It's Stephen Young. Does everyone know? Okay. I want the confirmation. This is our Glenn, everyone from Walking Dead. We love him. He's just a sweet little guy, and I wouldn't pay him much to run me over. He couldn't handle it. He's too nice. So I would. I once bought an autograph from him from an autograph dealer, so I didn't even meet him, but I paid like $50 just because I was a teenager and I loved him, and I still do, just to have a piece. And I seriously, all I want to do in the world is bake this little guy cookies because he's so nice. He's so nice. But yes, that is number 7. And who's number 6? Number 6. Please appreciate my gifts. It's Haley Steinfeld. Love it, yes, thank you. Thank you. She, if you don't know her, she's a mini movie. She gets your attention. Whatever you watch her in, you'll immediately you'll clock her. This is the only small age gap on the list. I hate to say, I know I skew older, sorry. And one time, this is fun. One time, I say this to everybody I know, I surreal dreamed, it felt so real that we were married once. And I woke up and I was like, why was that so real? That felt so real and it's so unfair that I woke up. Whatever, it's fine. It's fine. Then she got married and I was bitter, but we're over it. It's fine. The movie she's in, she plays like a silly dork who's just kind of cash, but she also dualistically can be a glamazon in real life. So she's amazing. But yeah, we love Haley Steinfeld. Please watch her. All right. Number 5. Wait for the gift.
Uh,
Oh, I know it's so they're so hard to find. It's Hayden Christensen. The silence is deafening. All right, this is Darth Vader. If you don't know, this is Darth Vader. There we go. It's Darth Vader from the prequels. I know that's controversial to some. I know. But here's the thing. I don't care. I love him either way. He is elusive, but I think we just all love him. Apparently not everyone. But that's okay. He is in this movie. Besides, I know the acting is crazy in the sequels, but I will say he has a movie called Shattered Glass, and it's the lower picture right there. He's fantastic in it. Please watch it. It is not the hottest. Oh no, someone erased that. It's the most underrated performance I've ever watched. And he's very passionate about Star Wars, which I think is really cool because not everybody is passionate about that nerd stuff that they play in, and he is. It's awesome. And he also makes tea on his own farm. Like that's just fun. Very new. All right. Oh, so who put that there? I did. That's me. I met him at Comic-Con. I know. I can't look at this. I have it on my shelf and I actively ignore it. It's there for posterity, but I don't look at it because I'm like, gonna get
he's actually touching it.
Sorry, hand. Oh, you know, it's like it happens so quick, but I'm like, it's so fun. Okay, number 4. Number 4 is this man named Hamish Linklater. We're going niche. We're going niche. Now, if you don't know who this man is, if you did, oh my god, I would like give you $5 for being amazing at it. This man is from a show. The most popular thing he's done is called Midnight Mass. If anyone has probably heard of it. If you've heard of like Bly Manor, Haunting of Hill House, all that, same person did this show. It is the best show. It is what my bones are made of. It's such a good show. And it
Presentation.
what happened?
Can we get a presentation at some time?
Yeah. Oh, don't even.
Okay.
Don't ask me to do stuff. I will talk for an hour about it. Okay. But yes, this is my one of my first celebrity crushes as an adult, and it was amazing. And it's about vampires and the Catholic Church, and it has like a dark turn. It's really wonderful. It's amazing. And he had another show where half of his face was blown off, and that's my kind of thing. So he makes the list. All right, we have number 3 and 2 because in Scott Pilgrim it's twins, so it's 3 and 2 together. All right, Elizabeth Olsen. Okay, well, somebody knows. Okay. This is Scarlet Witch in the Marvel Universe. And she's also an amazing actress. She's in so many things. I think I would die for this woman if someone asked me. I really would. She is like she's just like she gives the energy of a marshmallow soaked in sunshine. She grows her own blueberries, and I think that is enough for my hand in marriage, honestly. But she's awesome. And I honestly, I put Scarlet Witch was mine first because at the time when she first came on MCU, I should have gate kept her harder because now everyone loves her. And I'm like, no one believes me when I'm like, I was there first. Well, it doesn't matter. It's fine. But yes, I love this woman. And she obviously blew up the charts because she's the cutest and the sweetest. And if you notice, there's a star next to that picture in particular. We'll get there. We'll get there. So, who's number 2? It's also yes. We love him. I know he's still cute, DJ. Just look at him. I know he's cute. I can't talk about him. I can't quite honestly cannot talk about him. He's too much. And I love Moon Knight so much. I wore my shirt today. I can't talk about it. But I run a whole thing. I am not a normal person when I talk about Moon Knight. I am a bit of a freak. And if you put like the music on, I kind of ascend and like need everyone to shut up for a minute. It's that bad. And nothing quite hits like that for me. So I love him for that. Thank you so much. Yes. So if we go into the next slide, they were in a movie together. This was my line. I found out this movie existed and they do kiss. They do more than kiss. It's a lot. But I was like, this is I feel like someone was listening to me in my prayers. This movie was amazing. And I love it when people that I love are in movies, let alone to people I'm obsessed with the movie. So this is called In Secret. It's really good. It's actually a good movie. I'm not just watching it to like be a goofball. Yes, this is good. And oh, here are our honorable mentions before we continue. Maybe you know these people, maybe you don't. We got Florence Pugh. You should know who that is.
How does it make you feel to watch her fight Haley Steinfeld?
Oh my gosh, I have not yet.
Oh, okay.
Guy has not been on my, but it's on the docket. It's on the docket. I would probably cry a little bit. Pedro Pascal. Everyone knows who that is. Dan Stevens, don't know who that is. He has a filmography that you should pay attention to from Joe. Timothy Olyphant, we have to have at least one hot dad somewhere, so he's on there. Alicia Vikander, if you watch Ex Machina and the Tomb Raider series, Olyphant is like, yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, I love her, love her. And Haley Williams from Paramore, who can dance and sing like her nobody. I love her. But yes, honorable mentions, and number one is a little niche, and that's okay. But it's my obsession. Be my obsession. Be reveal. It's Lex Luthor from Smallville. I'm so glad someone knows who this is. I was
He's my Lex. I love Smallville. Yeah,
thank you. Okay, thank God. Okay, we have some recognition. I was afraid I was gonna have to do a whole thing like, if you don't watch Smallville, please watch it. But if you don't watch Smallville, it's really great. It's one of my favorite iterations of Superman. And this man is he's everything. I love him so much. He had
Sorry, I just read the verse. I throw a ring on Mr. Clean, so.
oh yes. I do believe his Lex Luthor was made with crack for me. And I throw a ring on Mr. Clean so fast it's obscene, was what I wrote. I remember when I first watched it, I was like, I never felt this way about a fictional character, but there's something about him. I just want to put a ring on it so fast. I've had custom merch made of this person. It's kind of gross. Like I always buy made merch as someone already did, but no one's buying merch of Lex Luthor from Smallville, so I had to be the frontier for that. Yes. And he also wrote a kid's book on farts, which is the only humor that exists and is hilarious. I love that. And it has like a button that makes fart noises. So funny. And I am one of the only 900 monthly listeners for his band on Spotify. So I just find him dandy. So
What's the band?
it's called Sunspin. And is the music like my favorite song though?
That's all that.
That's all that matters. I just care about his voice. That's all. And yes, that's why that's. Oh, I don't know how that got there, but I did. I did go to meet this man, and I have to say this was like my Woodstock. Him and Superman did like a panel in LA. It was really fun, and there was like I could write a whole dissertation about the secrets. It was like a little fan intimate experience of like 30 people, and they asked us to come up on stage and interact with them, every single one of us, like a crowd bigger than this. And I'm like, that is generous up the waz. And I had to be this close to him, and he's number one on the list. So I'm like sweating. And honestly, I blacked out. I'm just like, I'm not gonna feel a thing, I'm just gonna black out and just forget about it. And I did whatever I did and then left. But it was so fun. He said my name. That's me right there in that really crappy grainy picture. That's me, all the way in the back. But yes, this was so fun. I had such a great time, and thank you all so much for listening. Oh, hello? Do I stay up for anything? No. Okay.
Fantastic as always. No fun. Also the Scott Pilgrim thing. That's just yeah, very insane. All right. What's happening in social media? Ben already mentioned our Maker Melee, but it is a lot of fun and no expertise required, and it's a low commitment because it's only a couple hours. But it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Great British Bake Off. Yes, question.
I looked it up. Droid is owned and a trademark by Lucasfilm.
That's great.
Thank you for coming on me. I would
Choose to a zero.
Yeah.
We're doing it anyway. I'm gonna Photoshop R2D2 and I'm putting it on Instagram officially.
Official Star Wars mega fortune.
Well, I don't know about saying all of that. That might be.
If anybody, back to the Maker Melee thing first. If anybody wants to see Maker Melee, we recorded the last one. We made like a little video, so you can check that out on our YouTube channel and see kind of what you're getting yourself into. It was a lot of fun. The one we recorded was an inverse scale challenge. So you had to make a giant version of something small or a small version of something big. And there was a lot of fun and chaos, and it was great.
Yeah, total blast. I mean, yeah, it was good times.
And all of our events are free for members. So if you're a member, come on down. If you're not a member, I think it's $20 or $25. Yeah.
And yes, our official May the 4th Droid workshop on May 4th. Then I don't know more details about that. other than
We have, you could see, when you leave, you'll see there's a couple of example droids that we've built. But it's like an introduction animatronics class. So, we have these little droid kits that I designed. And you can come and put together a little droid animatronic, and it comes with like, it's called a servo tester. So there's like 6 knobs that will let you control all the servos and move the animatronic, remotely. But then, if you want to get more serious with it, after the droid building from 5 to 7, we're going to have a droid programming workshop from 7 to 9. And that's where we're going to teach people how to use a program called Botango, which is super fun. It is basically, it allows you to control animatronics using animation software. So you have like a rough 3D model of your animatronic in the software, and then you can move keyframes the same you would for like video editing or animation. But then it will happen in real life instead of just on your
I
computer.
was about to say it's open source. It's not open source, but it is free. and
Yeah,
fully
it's a
supported,
free,
and
fully
there's
supported
no
program.
there's no paid anything.
I cannot emphasize how awesome they are enough. I love Botango. I love the people who make Botango. We're not at all sponsored,
But like the founder,
the one
will-
guy who makes it,
Yeah.
and he has a Discord, and if you get the program and then use a Discord, like we had a problem with one of the things because we were trying to do something it wasn't designed for, and within like 24 hours he had sent us like a custom fix, and within 3 days he had released a whole new version of Botango that fixes the problem.
Yeah, super incredibly
incredible.
supported and very vibrant community. There's nothing else like that. Certainly not for
Yeah.
free. So yeah, check out our droid workshop. And of course, our lunch party, May 16th, we're actually gonna do a real lunch party for this new space because it deserves it. And yeah, we're gonna have some special guests that are yet to be announced. Are we gonna announce, or is it just always gonna be special guests? We're not gonna
We'll
say?
announce closer.
Okay, all right. I won't break that. But we will have some really cool things to auction as well and give away. We are giving away a laser.
We're auctioning off a couple lasers, but then we're gonna have some cool giveaways also. So there's a few companies that are working with us to give us fun things that everybody will go home with like a little gift basket with fun things in it. And then anybody who wants to will go home with an auction item. And it ranges from artwork to laser cutters to experiences. There's gonna be a lot, movie passes. There's gonna be.
I'll get one teaser because this is generic. It could be a lot of people. One of the original X-Men will be here.
Yes, and
it could be
they're
anyone.
going to be auctioning off
It
some
could be
signed X-Men merch.
Sir Ian McKellen.
It will probably not be Sir
Probably
Ian
not Sir
McKellen,
Ian
but maybe,
McKellen.
I don't know.
Right.
You never know.
Yeah.
And then that QR code, and the code on the side, Launch Show Hotel, those are discount codes. So if you want to get your ticket today, the actual price is $100, but if you get your ticket today, it's $50 using the code Launch Showtel, or by scanning that QR code. So it's your chance to get half off. And that will be active until tomorrow. So if you want to check it out tonight, members always get 25% off all of our workshops and big events. So if you're a member, you get 25% off anyway. But tonight you get 50% off. So check that out. Limited time deal.
Get them while they last.
Yeah.
There's actually no limit to tickets, but
There is a limit to tickets. I mean,
really?
There's only so much space we could fit. Dustin, who will be speaking, I think next, has kindly offered us to do some overflow in his board game shop next door. So we have increased our capacity a little bit, but there will still be a limit, probably around like 50 tickets only.
Okay.
So
okay,
yeah.
tickets really are limited. Yes.
Can you tease
The
the
QR
art?
code
Because I
doesn't
think
work?
I've heard something
That's
and it
fun.
sounds
I will put up a
great.
new
Art.
QR code at the end of the thing.
Just tease it. You don't have to say it.
I forget what it's from.
A new, what?
Can
The
you
art.
tease
There's
it?
an art piece that's going to be auctioned.
Oh, and you're cool. Right, it's Thomas Kincaid. One of the art pieces was kindly donated by Jacob. And it's a Thomas Kincaid. He's famous for making Disney paintings. You've probably seen it. Part of the Thomas Kincaid collection. And it's a painting of Wakanda, like a scene from Wakanda. We're gonna be putting the auction up early on our website. So sometime this week, look out. You'll see the auction. You'll be able to pre-bid on stuff and see all the things that will be there. And then the auction will close during the party. So yeah, there'll be more information about all of that. But I just wanted to give people a heads up, and I will put a new QR code because I've been told that that QR code is garbage trash. I will put a new QR code up after the presentation.
I think it's that centerpiece.
You
Yeah,
actually
I
are allowed to cut out, but like it might have cropped too many events.
Yeah, I don't know. There's weird stuff going on. Either way, you can also just go to events and then at checkout, just go to just type in launch showtell, and that will give you the 50% off. But I will put a new QR code up at the end. So, cool. That's all of our upcoming
All right.
events.
Up next, Dustin from Two Doors Down.
I forgot he could stand closer to the. Just slide it to the other side of the other side of the.
Hello, everyone. Ben mentioned that I am the owner, myself and my wife, on the game store Two Doors Down. I think I'm saying the band name. BG's Tabletop. First off, thank you, social media, for having me on. Really awesome presentations. Mine's gonna be a lot of talking, not quite as exciting as a Chat GPT with. But I want to just share a little bit about like my experience opening my game store and where we came up with that idea, and hopefully share some tips as far as like running and owning a business. And then towards the end, I'll have some time for questions if you have any questions for me. So
Dustin, can you just switch to that table so that you're more?
Okay,
next to
yeah.
the-
Also, I will allow you to then steer your own.
oh, cool. Cool. So if you see this guy on my shirt, Brian designed our mascot for awesome. Okay. So before I opened the game store, I worked in education, so I did a lot of like tutoring and teaching abroad. And a lot of the stuff I did in education was based in game-based learning and gamification. So before we even opened the game store, this was kind of the start of our brick and mortar store. We started as a podcast in Taiwan. That's a good friend of mine who I went to grad school with, and we created a podcast called Board Gaming with English. That eventually transformed into Board Gaming with Education. So you can still find the podcast. There's about 150 episodes. We interview different educators, other game designers, and people in the space of game-based learning and gamification. If English is your first language, or if you know English really well, skip the first like 10 episodes because we talk very slow. They're designed for English language learners. We set up an episode to teach them the vocabulary for a game, grammar for a game, and the rules for a game. But then after that, we kind of developed a more conversational interview style podcast. So that was kind of like the start of Board Game with Education. And I like to share with people if they ask about my background before game stores. I worked a decade in the service industry, like restaurants, and then a decade in education. And then I'm somewhere in the middle of a decade in retail. So you can try to guess my age, and that will be a question at the end because I have some prizes to give away. So, you know, a little bit about me. I want to just kind of share where we went from the podcast to now where we're at the brick and mortar store. So we started when my wife and we got married and we moved to Taiwan. I wanted to start a business, and I started. Sorry, I can't move it out of the lights. I started a business in tutoring English, and I was doing pretty well with that in Taiwan, but I realized I wasn't super passionate about it. And if I wanted to really kind of invest in a business and something that I want to do long term, I wanted to make sure there was a passion there, and there was a big reason for why I was doing that. And in my teaching, as I mentioned, I used a lot of games to engage my students, different gamification techniques and things like that. So we started the podcast, and then we started a lot of events-based programming in Taiwan, and we had the similar idea to do something when we moved back to the States. But as we all know, the pandemic happened. So you can't really do an events-based business during a pandemic. So we really shifted our business model. And if you see the picture on the left, this is where we started as an online store. We sourced board games from different publishers and created learning resources for those board games. So any board game you bought through our store online, you would receive complimentary lesson plans, at home learning activities, and things like that. This is for a game called Nerd Words, which is kind of like a party style trivia game. Going through this, we started to realize it was a very different business model, and that a lot of work teaching people what game-based learning is and gamification, because it's not something that a lot of people are familiar with, and it was an uphill battle. So we decided to kind of move into something that people are very familiar with and bring that along with us as we grew into a more general hobby game store. So a lot of things that we do over at BG's Tabletop is the focus on the positive impacts of tabletop gaming. So for a super casual store, we don't do a lot of we do a little bit of tournaments and competitive stuff, but everything we do, we set it up in a way to where someone who's brand new to the game can kind of come in and learn and not feel intimidated from the space. So after the online, we kind of shifted into, again, the more of a general hobby. We started carrying Pokemon, other board games that didn't necessarily, we didn't necessarily create learning resources for. And then the pandemic kind of started easing up and we started doing pop-ups. So our very first place where we sold product physically was in a game cafe. So I really appreciate spaces like this, Social Medium, and if you are familiar with the Valley Cafe Aficionado over in Northridge, just gave us a table for free, and we set up and we were able to sell games for a Saturday. So we started doing more and more pop-ups like this, and then eventually what we tried is our pilot test was at a kiosk in the Northridge Mall. So we ran this over the holidays. It was a good test for me to see if I'm comfortable sitting indoors for 10 hours a day for 2 whole months, and or finding someone to maybe cover for me if I need time off, learning different processes about ordering product, seeing how long it takes product to come in, closing the cash drawer at the end of the night, just a lot of day-to-day processes for running the store. So that's kind of where we came from. We started as a podcast, we did some pop-ups, the kiosk, and now after the kiosk, after that holiday, we moved into the store next door. We used a lot of the revenue we generated over those couple months. We saw, okay, we can afford just crazy. Maybe we can ask this question. If anybody can guess close to the $1,000 mark or $100 mark, how much do you think this kiosk is to rent for 1 month in December and the holidays?
Where at?
In Northridge Mall for 1 month. 5,000, not quite.
3,500.
A little bit more.
I would say 8,000.
Or less. 4K. I'll give you 4K.
Yeah.
I think it's 4,200
Oh.
for a month in December,
Oh.
which is about twice the price of what I paid for the store next door. In November it was a little bit cheaper, and then when I reached out about potentially doing it long term, the rent for that is about the same price that I pay for there throughout the year. Boards are you can negotiate, maybe if you sign a longer contract, it gets cheaper and stuff like that. But yeah, we paid I think around $7,500 for the 2 months, November and December. But so it's a good test to see, okay, can I run a game store, paying rent, and be in there all day? So yeah, now we do a lot of different events. It's really intense when I look back at the first month we opened, and we ran 3 events a week. But now we run at least 10 events a week. So we have something going every day of the week, and then on the weekends we kind of have maybe 2 or 3 things happening on a Saturday or Sunday. Tonight we had our board game event. On May 16th, as Ben mentioned, we'll host a free-to-play board game event. So if there's any space from flowover space, we'll have extra tables and games out to play. It's also our 3-year anniversary, so we'll what we do every anniversary is we have a week of free to play stuff. So everything that we do, we try to make free to play. We also do a lot of like kids programming. So again, my background was in education. So we do youth D&D. We do summer camps. There were a lot of challenges and things that came up unexpected from running a game store. But one thing that I was not expecting, and it has probably been my favorite thing from running the game store, is how involved in the community we are. We have kids who have started playing with us. One of our staff, he started playing at our store when he was like 12, turning 13. He's now 16 now and playing our adult D&D games. So it's really cool to see players grow in our community as well. So I just want to share one thing before we go into some trivia questions, is just some advice that I've learned in running a business is, number one, done is better than perfect. I think a lot of you are like creative people and you understand that failure is the path to success, right? So making mistakes and doing things quickly and learning from it and improving on it in a process-oriented mindset is really important. Competitors are better viewed as collaborators, especially in the tabletop gaming space. I think it's still kind of a niche space. Not a lot of people are familiar with it. The pandemic helped grow board games a lot, so a lot more people are familiar with like tabletop games. But we have a saying in our industry where a rising tide raises all ships. We are not competing with other tabletop game stores. We're competing with movie theaters, video games, and things like that. But even then, you'll see a lot of collaboration, right? You can go to our store and find a lot of board games based in video game persons. So a lot of businesses are always collaborating. And the last one I think is the most important is no one knows what they're doing. Even if you like think someone has been around in the business for a long time, they still are kind of trying to figure things out. There's a lot of stuff that I don't know that I'm figuring out. Okay, so before we maybe end with some questions, if anybody has, I want to do a quick game. I wouldn't be a game store owner giving a presentation without a game PM. So the first question is, guess my age.
42.
39.
Oh,
Not 39.
oh, 34.
38.
No.
36.
46.
No.
41.
Everybody's really close, but they don't have to.
42.
43. 44. Oh. Oh, I should have. One number.
And they're just $5 gift cards. So the next one is name one product we sell at our store.
Guys, back together.
Okay. Pokemon.
Oh, let's go.
Nice. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Are these all $5?
Yeah. And the next one is, what is something we offer for kids in the summer?
Summer camp.
Summer camp. What does BGE stand for?
Working education.
That's gonna be my question.
Your question? Oh, okay. Board game education? Yeah, board game with education. What's my favorite Pokemon? I did not say this in the presentation. This will be for, let's do for 2 magic welcome decks.
Can we get the type?
Pikachu.
I'm not gonna give any,
Original
I'm not gonna give any clues until a
Clefairy.
couple of guesses.
Jigglypuff.
Charmander.
Bulbasaur.
Brian, you can't guess.
Oh.
And on top,
Bulbasaur.
here's
Pikachu.
Deoxys.
here's the first clue.
Oh,
never mind.
First clue.
You already won. I don't know if that was obvious.
You give away more.
Okay, I just have like 3 more things to give away, and then I was gonna try to give this to everyone. They're Eureka $10 off things that I had left over. But I'll do 3 more questions. Brian, give me a question. How about what was the first place we sold a game physically?
At a pop-up store.
Northridge Mall.
No, the pop-up.
Oh,
In a-
Was it pop up? Cafe Chanel? Cafe.
Oh.
I think.
Let's go with, where did the business start?
Podcast.
Podcast. Did you win already? We'll go Taiwan. All right, last $5 gift card. What is my middle name?
You don't have one. Games.
It's a pretty common middle name. Not Mark.
John.
John.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I just have these. I was gonna give if anybody didn't win, they're $10 off if you want to use them. They're kind of leftover for Eureka. If anybody likes Eureka nearby.
Oh, Eureka's burger place in Panama.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I'll give
They're very good. Very fun gastropub kind of situation.
The after hours.
I think it's not for our people.
Yeah, social media.
Oh yeah.
But any questions? I don't know if I added. Okay. One last thing I realized I wanted to shout out. We're doing a convention in Burbank, June 13th to the 15th. It's called LFG Con. We are looking for exhibitors, artists for Artist Alley. We are also going to probably have a room where we hang up paintings and or art, and you can put like your name and where to contact you to purchase it. We're still working out details like that, but if anybody's interested, you can go to lfg-con.com. And then this is for let's effing go, or looking for group, or looking for game. That's like a couple days.
Is this you're putting on?
Myself and two other game stores. So Gaming Grounds, if you're familiar, and Fire and Dice.
What's the cost and/or commitment to exhibit?
So the Artist Alley is $350, and then to exhibit is $450. It's a pretty expensive space, the Burbank Convention Center. We have to even pay a fee for every vendor that is there. So yeah, so like that's built into the price, but yeah.
Is it? How much is it for?
It's either $60 total or $60 per day.
Oh.
I can't remember. Yeah, so it's quite a big difference, but I remember just how we built out the prices.
Can you put what LFG stands for on the site? Because I looked at it before and was really confused.
Yeah, it's in the About Us part, I think.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Me and my mom were looking for it, but we were like, "What is LFG?"
That's kind of what we went for with
Oh,
it. So hopefully
okay.
people would be like, "Oh, what is it?" Because it does have a couple different meanings. Like, let's effing go to LFGCon and look for our group of gamers.
It's good. It's good.
But any questions?
Mr. Mime, why?
It's kind of a joke with a couple kids when I grew up. We would sweep and we'd say mime, Mr. Mime, and then he just kind of became my favorite. So that's like the only cosplay I've ever done.
Oh, we want to see that photo.
Yeah. Do you have it?
Yeah, I can see it, but but any other questions? Come stop by anytime.
Yeah, again, he's literally 2 doors down. So if anybody, nice. So if any games, cards,
Yes.
anything like that,
How do you find some game?
So yeah, we work with 5 distributors now, and also directly with publishers.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So like most of our TCGs are sourced through distributors, because that makes sense for the publishers to work that way. Where board games we can get through distribution or directly. Games Workshop only directly, and there's one distributor that there's
TCG. Sorry.
trading card games like Pokemon, Magic. Yeah,
Do you sell singles?
yeah, we do singles, Pokemon, and Magic mainly. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome, Justin. Before we go, as we set up our next presenter, because we're gonna switch computers, we're just gonna do like a 5-minute quick intermission. If you want water, there's water back there in our newly installed water purifier thing. There's a bathroom in the back behind the green door. If it looks like you're in a submarine, you're in the right place. And if you still haven't met the people next to you, introduce yourself. And we'll come back together in about 5 minutes for our next presenter, who will announce them. Our last presenter.
Last. Thank you. USB.
DJ, can I look at your cards?
It's just a standard. But now, I mean, no, I
Wait, are
no,
these the ones that come pre-shuffled? Like,
Oh, we could ask
May I
us.
ask what salad?
This? This?
Yeah.
This is you know what you're trying. So there is this Cyberpunk Gaming Festival and
White green? So it's green and then
you trade.
Oh,
things
wait,
at the event.
so
So I
it's
made
just
this.
trade them.
You're supposed to
At this one, yeah.
This is.
No, this one was based on Blue.
Yeah, problem though.
Neotropolis.
These are matches. But yes, this is the backpack.
Ready to throw down where?
Yeah.
Always keep like 2 of every
Yeah,
game
that's
on
what
the
we
card.
do.
Because like to get randomly, you'll be like, I got to play today. It's like, I get it. Go to my shop.
That's so brutal.
Oh, I think I saw.
That's what
Yeah.
got
So it
there.
does. It does anything on Astro
Oh wow! What is just pure wow? It might as well be heroin.
Heroin.
I like the
I'm like, oh yeah, I'll trade this for a card.
A lot of games.
I saw Oh my god. What is it called? Thank you for helping me.
Fisher State Pen. That's the ones that they have not the fire.
Oh, really? You're gonna play the decks in the dark?
Because they can write upside down.
So
Oh, that's an actual interesting innovation.
there's a look because I had to really act.
Fisher's the company. Space Pen.
So there's a look.
Oh, wait, it says don't shuffle.
It's too late.
Oh, did you
I
shuffle?
just shuffle it.
I think that you have.
So they still play.
Yeah, of course.
Don't shuffles for like if it's your first time
Yeah, but
playing.
they meticulously crafted the game for us ahead of time.
That's so we should for them. Dark. They in the back.
Yes, in the back.
That's such normally the front card is the one that says don't shuffle. So maybe the process changed at some point. That's why that was all I checked for.
So, also, if it says don't shuffle, how is it
Yeah.
two?
So
Neither
Which one?
Oh, yeah.
So you have to at least stack one on the other.
So we
It's not
because she's a dream.
Bye,
A
Savannah.
dream world and
Yeah, that's not.
You made my like the whole.
No, not you. We're shoving that air
Nothing
in
happens.
air. You did the wrist shuffle, but into the one in it.
so there's
Whoa!
Yeah.
improv.
Yeah, it's like
A lot of cards. It's a very useful skill to have, but.
I'm pretty sure if I tried to do that, they would just end up
A chain of
Yeah.
more it's a little more relatable.
He's just gonna spray them all. They're stiff. He's got strong thumbs. Strong thumbs.
I have very weak thumbs, so I can.
I mean, like,
Oh, we're at
There we go, yeah.
So try to find it all the time.
Definitely.
If you ever want to stop by, I'm
So,
we're gonna do a
going
field
back
trip
and forth.
here, and then you guys are gonna do a field trip.
That
next
one.
year.
This
Everybody, 2 more minutes and we're gonna get back together.
Oh,
man. Last speaker.
I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to play the game with Magic.
no, not right now.
Now let's try to get me. You can throw it up.
Thank you for participating.
If there's somebody you haven't met yet, introduce yourself and we'll start.
That's what you feel like you're I like Hey, bye. You're great.
Just screening tells
I'm like, you know, you need a car. But you need a car.
Maybe next man.
You need a car.
Literally.
Yeah, this time was made for you.
Half of my day job is security and safety. I'm just sitting here watching them train the microwave soil.
The hard part is that I'm literally having to ask
Also
for
shuffle
files
back
of
the cards.
Say part of say the words,
They can't
change the word, the voice,
Well, he did definitely. Yeah. Rich, but I just did it. Yeah.
All right.
It's like I do that.
Everybody-
So I can do it. I can
He's a
flow.
magician.
Yeah, I know.
What?
Obviously.
Here, but I want
Animating it.
There's also a little more.
It's also probably 360 world. I have them as information already.
Intermission is wrapping up. Please return to your seats when you have the opportunity.
Are these ones?
Can you think about your hair?
Ethan, I keep some point.
Yeah.
The problem with
Oh, yeah, it's okay. I can turn it off. But yeah, we can talk about it. Also,
Say because it's the rule of
did not explain that at all.
Right.
But
Oh, it's fine.
yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Exactly. Exactly.
I feel
But the whole point is like, okay.
It's like, if I could get like a
Good influences of already like in fire. The point is like,
Yeah, of course.
it's like
the advantage starts.
this is from my car.
Oh, I was like, where did that come from? That was material.
These are
Yeah, but I was like,
the whole world.
I'm not gonna.
His
Nice.
friend.
Sketchy.
Also.
I mean, you were very on the spot, so you did a pretty good job.
Okay.
Just suddenly like, explain this now in 2 minutes.
All right, everyone.
You did fine.
Once we get everyone back in their seats, we'll give it up for our final guest, our final presenter.
I like that you would.
All righty. Please get up for Hayden.
So I was intentionally cryptic in the title of this presentation, as my boss told me to be. But yes, I'm from University of Hollywood. I'm a mechanical engineer. I'll get to the next slides. Also, no photos. That was the other thing.
I'll stop the live stream then.
That's true.
You can just crop, right? Unless you want to crop me.
Oh yeah, if it's cool to show you without the.
That'd be great. Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the honor system, if there's anything trying. But yeah. So this is our mechanical engineering team. We focus the way we split it up. It's I don't know. Disney kind of muddies the water because everyone's an imaginary Disney. We sort ourselves into 2 different categories. We have our creative team who builds and designs all of our venues or all of our rides. We are on the other side of it, and they hand us a fully complete ride, and they say, "Here, take care of this for 20 years."
Oh.
So we inherit all the problems, and that's what we get to do day in and day out, and it's a great system. Don't worry about it. So we have 5 engineers, 1 technician, and 2 project engineers on our team. So typically, day to day, I'm going down and I say, we have this problem. Something either has happened or we want to prevent something from happening. So I come in and do the quick redesigns, very, very short design process. But a few months out of the year, the entertainment team approaches us and says, "Hey, you're free. Do you want to design animated figures for us for temporary events?" So if you've ever gone to horror nights in the last few years, my team's the one who designs all of those internally. There is some confusion typically between the puppets and the animatronics, but our entertainment team has carved out some niche for us because we have a decent enough budget and we can do it at cost for the company. So our entire team gets involved, and so I kind of wanted to throw this presentation. This is based off of our other presentation internally, but kind of the overall process of how we do it. So it's very similar format, but with more exciting pictures, hopefully. If you want, I can also breeze through a bunch of the pictures, and we can get to questions at the end with however much time. But yeah, so we go through our typical design build test model. So in our case, we get concept artwork from the entertainment team. They say we want to do this figure with this many features. Sometimes that involves getting hands-on and either scanning or 3D modeling. Sometimes they don't know what the figure is going to look like, so they just say, "We want it 3 feet wide," and we're like, "Okay, cool, we can do that." And then we will go in and say, "Okay, where are our joints? Where can we fit our mechanisms, what is realistic movies, especially on the timeline. So these range from about 4 months to about 12 months, depending on what it is. And we do, it depends on the amount of hours, but a couple of them we've gotten to a year in advance, as they're like, hey, this one's gonna be big, so we want you to do that. Yeah, then we just start designing, builds what it is. It's manufacturing. We work with our internal metal shops. We have one at the park, which is actually the studio metal shop. So anybody's who's constructing sets for movie and TV shows, it's the same people that are cutting out buttons for us. And then we also have a shop in Valencia, a couple of minutes away from Magic Mountain, and that's where the park metal shop is, and they can manufacture stuff for us. And they're always excited to get involved. So
What is the ballpark budget per figure?
the one that I'm doing right now was $4,000.
Okay. Is that very low end, or
That
is
is
that
very,
high?
very low. So
Crazy.
$4,000 to about 12,000 is the most expensive we've done. So for the amount that I like to think that the amount that we're elevating is a lot higher, because then it's different than what Knott's and Disney is only doing after hours events, or to these scales. But yeah, so it's like we get to do, because I think you must do some sort of cost analysis of how much would it cost us to do it as a puppet, and what do we get out of it. So I'll get into some of these smaller stuff we've had to do where it's like you can't really puppet that, at least with the amount of figures we end up doing. So yeah, very low, and our time is free to the company as long as the bosses are happy in terms of how much time we're putting into it. That's where the real cost comes in. But yeah, it's mostly a parts cost, and it's $40,000, which you'll see a lot of COTS hardware, very minimal. We try to cut it down. If we're going to do custom hardware, it's just going to be water jettable or laser. We have also a laser at lower lot. So, well, one of the metal lasers, I guess, it's a little bit, but yeah, so it's very, very minimal in terms of budget.
Do you have to pay for the time of your manufacturing team?
Yes and no. Depends. If we're doing the studio lot, yes.
Okay.
And that's about 60 to 80 bucks an hour. So, that's kind of sorted as a different budget, but it's kind of all the same. So that's why we cut it down and say, let's use as much COPS hardware as we can and just do that. So, yeah, and then we'll go to test and we'll see a lot of that test footage as well. So this is the part definitely don't take pictures of these. This is all of the concept art that we get from our entertainment team, and it varies depending on how early in development they are. They actually do a very good job of painting that picture of where is this going to be, how tall is it going to be, and it's very general numbers, but at least to something we can dial in later. So and now they've started to do SketchUp models, which is super helpful. So for the bigger stuff, I mean, especially that Ghostbusters we did Ecto 1 effect last year, that crashes close to the guest path. So we have about 6 to 8 feet of travel from the front to the back, and it's only the front half of the vehicle there. So that ended up being huge in terms of, hey, we can drop this into the SketchUp model and see how big it is, and kind of vice versa on our side of how much space do we have to actually do it. We want to do it, and that the Ghostbusters one was really fun because it ended up weighing like. They were like, okay, we don't know who's going to make the shell of the vehicle. And it ended up weighing 600 pounds. And we're like, okay, let's throw as much power as we can. And it was, the control cabinet was immense, but it was big.
Was the shell scratch built?
It was scratch built, and then they used real car bumper and real car lights, which drew like 40 amps. Yeah, so that was fun. And they didn't have somebody to actually make that skin until like a couple months before we did. So like our mechanical design and the mechanical design and build was done prior to them really having anything. But yeah, so this is kind of what we get from them, and then we get a bulleted list of features they want. So we kind of from the start saying, okay, well, that's not realistic, especially, and they'll just kind of nail down, here's our core ones that we really want, here's some nice to have. And so I think the wings for the Lechuza figure weren't supposed to flap in and out. But the designer on that, he was like, no, we're getting that, and it's gonna have an 8 foot wingspan or whatever it is. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Also, actually, fitting that into the space after they built the walls was very fun. Yeah, sometimes we do get on the left. We got that's the actual CG model from Quiet Place. So we got that as a through the partner, the IP partner there, and it was great to have because you could see the digital joints that they were working with and where they were hiding what the figure, like, you know, where the skin was overlapping basically. So it's like, well, we have to do that for real, and there can't be any you know fussing about the skin will just glide with itself, whether or not it's hard or soft. So the other thing was for Chucky, we did 18 Chuckies for the Chucky Maze. Wow, 3 years ago. We took one of the IP approved dolls because they had obviously pre-approved that. So like, here, let's get this full cost and get you 20 dolls. We did, well, there were 2 static ones, but and we just scanned it and said, here's the actual size. But what I learned after the fact was this was the nice Chucky pre-possessed doll. And there's a possessed Chucky, but when Chucky's possessed, he shrinks by 2 inches. And nobody told us that, which was something we had to figure out. But to define, here's how we then take, whatever, whether or not it's a scan or a physical thing that we can integrate with, we kind of block it out. And the top left is what usually our structures start with, where we're doing it as tubes, rectangular tubes, circular tubes, whatever it is. And we just kind of say, where do we want this to actually move? Will this fall over if we try to build it the way they want it? So as you can see, like on the bottom left where the GIF is playing, the entire lower half of the figure is stationary. And then we only have the 2 joints that actually, or 3 joints, I guess, that pivot. And there's also an extra feature of the body rolling, and you can see that was our preliminary test for that. I think that one didn't end up working out because the skinning vendor couldn't haul out enough material. But that was because they were also doing a mix of puppets and animatronics for that. So they had a lot of like we were like, okay, that's understandable. It's an extra feature. And then on the top right, you can see one of the figures was in a train car. So we just, like I was saying, we kind of pulled the SketchUp model in and said, will this even fit into the train car? And what do we have to build that train car to have this 400-ish pound? I think it's less than that, but assuming 400 pounds on this frame can support that, which it ended up, we just isolated it. And I think there's a model later where we have it on pedestal that we tested. So this is what it typically looks like at a probably 80%, if not more, complete stage. And they're very simple. So like the Ecto 1 car, we just build it out of 80/20 and put it on a linear track that we had already built. Granted, that linear track had to, increase in length and the motors had to be moved up, but it was already there. So it was a very simple effect, but it ended up being more of a safety effect than anything else because it was 600 pounds, trying to look like it's driving at you. And then for Quiet Place, this is the internals minus the head of the figure. And they're just simple air cylinders. This effect it didn't need to be a detailed effect, so we kept it as a air cylinder with a cushion, so that way it at least wasn't banging around like a lot of things you see. We at least had some control for it. And then this one had a fully featured multi-axis head as well. Here's the inside of that Lechuza bird lady that I was alluding to. Again, just building out a square frame, and then we just especially with this one, since it was an internally driven story element, they were inventing the look of this. It was a cultural figure, but there wasn't any like defined rules for it. So we just let the skinny vendor kind of come in and say, okay, here's build out the chest, make it carbon glass, whatever you need. We're just going to give you a square frame and to something easy to tie. Middle is a baby crow. I think there's a picture of that later when it was fully done. It looked amazing. And then the Chuckies, of course. So there's a couple different theories of mechanical design that we go with. And that's the true for figures where you either drive the axis layer by layer, or you do it two at a time, I suppose. So the middle one, you can see on that baby bird, there's two motors that actually are like driving the neck of the creature around, and that gives you the full like head motion. And it's kind of a combination of both axes at once. So it's like if they both pull down, the figure tilts down. And that's the way you drive those. But on Chucky, you have a motor for each elbow and for each shoulder that are kind of done one at a time, stacked up. So it has to just be done quick and dirty. So usually we don't go with something like the baby crow effect. It's harder to design because then you have to do it from control standpoint, and sometimes you don't have the time for that. So sometimes simple as easy. So usually we don't create a lot of prints for these, or at least very detailed prints to what we what is standard for the park. These ones are all just to help people actually assemble the thing. We are not necessarily the ones building it. Because the Death Angels, we did 3 or 4 of those, and yeah, we had to have teams of people basically come in and help us out. We'll do the engineering. We'll get a little hands-on once it comes into the testing phase, but we'll get to that. So yeah, it is what it is. These are very important. Manufacturer. So like I was saying, we have multiple shops that we work with. And we're trying to get more into 3D printing as well. So we have a resin printer, as you see there, and we have an FDM printer that prints out a lot of custom hardware that's pretty light. So the Chuckies, we did a lot of the Chucky frames out of 3D prints. They don't need to be super strong. The entire figure weighs less than 12 pounds. So it's pretty easy to get a hold of and just churn them out. So yeah, we have a lot of water jets and lasers to do 2D flat cuts, which is a lot of fun. You can just kind of bolt it together over a couple of days. And I guess we'll get to the assembly. So this is our technician Vince, who came on like I think a month before this point, which was fun. So he just jumped right into a figure. It's a lot of bolt sorting and just pre-assembly, and then once you get parts, then he's got to put it together as quick as you can. As in our thing is beating the timeline and trying to get these into the venues and cycle them as much as we can. That way the guests have it. Because with this, especially with Horror Nights, you only get about 7 to 8 seconds of showtime that you are actually looking at it before you walk in. Chuckies are one of our favorite boys. He is a nightmare. We had 18 of them, and those motors are a lot of fun, but they're also very finicky. So those ones are Dynamixels. They're off the shelf. You can do PID on each individual, like pre-program them and just send them a command signal, and then it'll actually smooth that out for you. So that's why we use that, and we also used it as a torque limiter. Those have work readouts that you can send back. So if somebody were to like run up to him and start pressing on him, he'll just like back off a little bit rather than pinching somebody. So that was also one of the reasons we chose.
This isn't so much a question, but just a comment that I feel 1,000,000% validated. You guys use Bill Buildo parts.
We do use
yeah, why?
Yeah. Those are really easy to integrate, and they have SolidWorks models. So
GoBuild is a website that sells like robotics and
It's like an erector set, which is an outdated reference.
Yeah,
but
I came from in high school I did FRC, so
okay.
I was like, I know exactly the websites you're going to, and they're very cheap.
Yep.
And the GoBuilder ones have very good spec sheets.
Yes.
So we use those a lot of places. Yeah, so it's a lot of silver and metal parts just until you get to the scanning phase, which we don't do, thankfully. They look kind of like hot trash, but yeah, we'll do the insides all day.
I have a question. How do you deal with Chucky being 2 inches shorter?
I think we shortened up a couple of the mounts, and I think we may have shortened the neck as well.
Okay.
So yeah, thankfully it was less of a problem than we thought, but I realized that at some point we felt, we went to put it together, and the two dolls were sitting side by side, and they were just not the same. Yeah, I know way too much about Chucky. I also have a 3D scan. We weren't sure if we were gonna put butt on a lot of the figures, so I have a print of a 3D printed Chucky butt because we were like, do we need to build out to make him look like he's a full figure? And that was fun. You didn't use it. Hardware and software, we work with our controls team on for a lot of this. They are the internal people who are also working on the rides as well. We have our own technician group for that. And they do a lot of the wire work and prep, especially once it comes to like the Ghostbusters or safety effects. A lot of our, at least one of our core safety team members comes in and walks over maze in every event. And just like, well, cursory check of, hey, are you being stupid with this? Especially once it comes to power, because there was a very famous incident. I don't remember which park it was at, but it was a temporary event and they had a fire. So we have a lot of fire codes that we have to abide by. So yeah, very as close as we can get to that right. Pretty much. The middle was the Death Angels. That was the head structure. The wire routing was obviously very fun. The one that had right there had 14 actuators, and which would open up like you've seen in the movie, the panels of the head. That was the one I designed, which I had a lot of fun with, but it was also a pain because you had to do the same thing. And then yeah, they made a couple of our technicians also do together custom PCBs to use all of the same effects. It's either turning on a water effect or it's taking a trigger, doing something with it. So they kind of were sick of the cycle and they just did something else. We did Ghostbusters. That was where that resin printer came through. Middle is the baby crow testing, and then the last is the cheese again. So, yeah, the testing is the best part. We get a very simple prompt, and then we're usually the ones that are driving the animation for these, and then just gets bought by creative at some point. So yeah, here's more motion testing. More. There you can see the Ghostbusters Ecto car not being done. You just threw a bunch of sandbags to prove out that it would work. And they were still overweight. So,
What is driving the Echo One motion platform?
There is it's actually, well, it's a custom chassis, but it's basically an Andy Mark motor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or the dual mini simple blocks, whatever the standard NRC.
But is it just like a wheel, like friction on the track?
It's just two wheels, and then the reason they have that aluminum frame is so you can forward capture as well. So if it were to ever try to tilt forward, it wouldn't be caught on also. One of our, well, now he's our manager, worked for Oceanair, which designed the IRX animated figure for Jurassic World. And it's almost an exact copy of the frames. He's like, I know exactly what this happens. Yeah, it's a lot more simple, but it's also, I guess it's not any simple, but it's the same. It's, you have a prox that says where to go to, and it looks be so. And then skinning is where we get to send out these parts. We work with primarily one vendor who does all of the master makeup for Horror Nights. So this Death Angel was all hand sculpted. And they, the IT partner came in and bought off this individual sculpt. So what they had done is taken the CG model, printed it out, and did a 1-to-1 as best as they could. You can see it behind it actually. But that was also fun because they were making up their own dimensions and we were basing it off of the CG model. So there was some differences. Yeah, and then the right is actually one of the puppets they did. So it's a half of that creature, and it had freedom in the shoulders to move, and then I think there was also something for the actor to open the drum. Some more. There's a baby curl on top left, more of that thing stuff. So the top middle is when we installed it, and it didn't have all of the signal at the bottom yet. And at some point, they just came in with fabric and made it look really pretty. So that was the fully featured 14 pit. And then with Chusa, as I was saying, they kind of just came in with extra shells and defined their own space on the structure. Last, of course, step is installation. This is very fun because there was a point in the Death Angel one where we weren't sure if this particular figure would fit in the space because they just drew it by hand and estimated. So yeah, this figure actually had to move out as it almost hits the stairs there, and we were very worried about that. So we took it apart and reassembled it on site to make sure it would fit, and found space for it and it was thankful. But yeah, these are sometimes very heavy, and sometimes we're just out there doing it by hand because there was this the figure on the ground there where it has all the skin on it. It rises out of the water, but they didn't build us any access, so we had to carry this over a handrail, and that had a 150-pound steel plate underneath. So that was a lot of fun with multiple people carrying that in. And then of course Chucky. That Chucky was on. It was similar to the Ecto card actually that allowed this Chucky to run out on the kitchen table with the cookie carver. And yeah, it's a lot of that one was fantastic. These are always Horror Nights always comes out at the end of summer, so a lot of these mazes are 95 degrees or more. It's 95 degrees outside, probably 100 degrees in the time. And they only recently started conditioning them, both for actors and for all the other equipment that they have. Final programming. I'm sure some of you recognize this. We do use Sunbot Tango for this with a custom backend that we've written now that does a lot of additional smoothing, additional integration for us because we're often combining actuators in ways that either aren't typical or just in general we want to get more into the nitty-gritty than you want Bot Tango. I will take official credit for it, but we are releasing the Dynamax of the Bot Tango website now. Or sorry, the hardware release. But yeah, and then Bot Tango's great. It's Evan, I don't know how he does it.
I'm such a fanboy for Batango. Like it's the only thing that I'm like obsessed with. I love it.
Yeah, it just makes it so easy. And sometimes, yeah, our backend right now is a little bit messy. So sometimes we are doing the light control, and then sometimes we just send it and post process it with that. But it is us just building out simple structures like it's designed to be, or sometimes I'll take, because I want them to look nice, I'll take the SolidWorks model and drop it. And it's great because they our entertainment department sends us the audio file, or we kind of collaborate on what can the figure do in the amount of time, where it makes sense to put the audio cues or like certain elements of that. Yeah, more test and adjust. Sometimes our effects are really simple, like the Slimer. We just took an air cylinder and kind of we have a custom frame that somebody made at some point in time, and they just it'll rise up and get triggered ready. All of the show systems they're temporary, basically kind of ride system. We call them show control SCS, and they will manage the whole house and say exactly when the timing should happen. So Ghostbusters, Slimer was on a timer and it happened like every 5 minutes outside of the maze, just to watch those that you as you're waiting. And then sometimes they do have been integrating laser beams now. So if you enter a certain area, that effect will cue and generate a scare, or sometimes it's also not even a scare, it's just a show element. But for all events, it's really scares. Yeah, these are rich down. But yeah, test and adjust. That's what we were trying to always reach is what's going to go wrong, and we're going to make sure it goes wrong before people start seeing it. So in the upper right, we actually had a whole shoulder break because the weld was bad on what was at angles, and that was after it was skinned as well. So it made it even better to have to come in afterwards and reassemble that. that's one of my favorite pictures of the technician events, and that's and the final product. There's way better videos of this on YouTube and whatnot. But these are the ones that we recorded internally. Yeah, I mean that's what we're trying to get to. Is just even if you work a very long day to get these to happen, it's hundreds of people, thousands of people a night are gonna walk through. So it's our favorite thing to work on besides work stuff. So every year we're excited. It's like, okay, what's on the docket this year? And sometimes you can guess this depending on what the releases are. But I like my favorite ones are like A Quiet Place, where it's like I wasn't expecting this to be a house. I also worked on The Last of Us, but it was based off the video game, which was interesting. So I got an effect for that. So yeah, it's it's a fun little silly thing. It's good. So yeah, thank you. And then if there's any questions, I don't know if there's time for questions. But yeah. Yeah, our favorite one is I don't know when they started doing theme park stuff, but for Jordan Donuts. So I'll do a song a little pride board of hey, you've done something. There's a picture there. Yeah, we're trying to develop a good system with entertainment of hey, would you rather hire an actor to do this for 8 hours a day? Which usually the answer is no, or it's like I think Orlando tried to do a puppet for Chucky, and we're like, no, we're gonna we're gonna do this the way it should be done, which is a full animated figure and program it and make the same show happen every time. Because it has to happen every 8 to 10 seconds is when there's like one. We are doing, and we're also opening up to other events. So we're doing. I created an effect that I can't show you yet, but I want to for FanFest.
Not to come back and doing other things.
Yeah, if it was next week, I would totally show you. But
next month's show and tell.
Yeah, so some of it, and there is a lot of credit that's also not seen. We have a lot of obviously streaming partners. We have a lot of people who do external effects for us. But we get to pick the couple that our team gets to work on. We just try to have the most fun with it. So yeah, if there's any questions, I'm also.
What is the timeline that you just sort of showed here?
I think for this new figure that I'm working on, it was about 4 months. Chucky got like a year in advance because of how complex it would be. So we got to a certain stage, showed our team of partners, and they said, "Yeah, can you do 18 of these?" And we're like, "We'll try." We did. My coworker talks about Chucky. He's like, "Yeah, you built an entire like walk through attraction, like theme park attraction, but for a 2-month event." College. And I mean, they have all the Chuckies. They might reuse them. We have a warehouse in Glendale where they store all the entertainment items. Any furniture you see, anything like that, we store every event as well. So hopefully Chucky can be back. Is the Chucky actually with the Dynamixels, we were using a combination of Botango, but then at a certain point, entertainment wanted to be more hands-on with it in a way. So we're like, Dynamixels, you can actually record the current position. So we allowed them to puppet the figures in real time and play it back at certain speeds to match the kill profile. So like a couple of these, I was like on the stairs and animating with them with like, all right, is he stabbing now? Is he stabbing now? Like, because they had already programmed like the audio cues of like he was stabbing somebody, so we had to match that in real life. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
How I guess when the IP holders or whatever licensing comes in and says like, hey, we love what you're doing, but I guess what part of the approval process is like can they get up to? And then what was like I guess like the closest buyer you had to put out?
Thankfully everyone's been pretty good with my team in particular. Usually that'll happen in the early stages with the entertainment team who will come and say, hey, we want to do this effect for your IP. And they'll say, okay, what's within the parameters? For Chucky, I think that was one of the easier ones where all we had to do was use the doll. It's like, it looks like Chucky because it's already licensed as Chucky. And then from there, it's like, Chucky can kind of do whatever he wants to, which is fortunate. I think
Like the D&D thing that's going
the
on.
D&D thing, they depends on how active that IP was. Chucky's kind of an internal property, and that's mostly what we work with. But there are a few external ones, and it's I don't know. It depends on the IP as well. Like for The Last of Us, I didn't run into any issue with them either. But it's like I was building a car for them. I wasn't building Joel. So it's like depends on what it is. It's like I'm sure they would care about Joel much more than a Jeep. But there are certain things where it's like they'll tell our entertainment team, it's like, okay, we're using this particular shade of green for this. And usually it doesn't hit our stuff. It's usually simpler where it's like my effect for the fan fest is 5 functions. And it's like the IP holder was really only promised 2 of them. And those are story related. It's not anything else beyond that is just a great show. It's not the show. so yeah, it depends on the situation.
What is the largest figure you guys have?
We didn't. The largest figure I would say is the one we didn't do. People confused in Chucky. There was a big puppet that people walked in and like, wow, that's a great looking animatronic. I'm like, it's not ours.
Oh.
It was a puppet. It was just somebody standing in a suit, and like we only did the tiny one. The largest one though, I think the Death Angels were definitely the largest. There's another one in the train car where it had the stands elevated about 3 feet, I want to say. And so that was, I mean, you can see on the top left, this figure at a standing position was about 8 feet, 6 to 8 feet tall. It had like 8 foot when it was extended. And the other ones, it's like those ones had multiple joints too. So it's like the one on the top right, it has basically 6 feet of width rather than extending with the shoulders together. So those are the biggest ones. We've done a couple elevated effects. I think the biggest maybe by size is the Epic car. That thing was massive. It was the full front of that Cadillac, even the portion we built is about 8 feet. And like I said, yeah, real car parts, they did not shorten the scale of that at all, which would have been nice, but yeah, so. Yes.
How did you get into this?
So I worked there about 3 years now. I started in their intern program. It was a quality intern, and then I switched to mechanical intern, mostly because it also aligned with my degree. They kept me there, and then I wasn't hired for it, but I stayed on because we were working on Chucky, and I was like, I'm gonna take this as far as I can. If you're gonna have me, if they gave me the options of, hey, do you want to sign on for a few months? And I was like, yep, I'm just gonna keep going as long as I can. This is like such an interesting project to me. Very fun project too. And then they brought me on in the middle of Chucky as well. So that was great. Yeah, and the other engineer I was working on it with is the gentleman in the Chucky bucket hat with the 3 Chuckies. And he moved to Orlando, but he was the one who convinced the team to do the project. He's like, I think we can do it. I think we can actually pull it off, and we should have that challenge. So I owe a lot to him for that one. There's the one next time. We did the little bar at Chucky last year. So if you went to Horror Nights last year, they had one in the Chucky bar because they didn't have a maze that year, and it was one of the ones previously. Yeah, that's how I got into it. Yeah, largely because of the Chucky project, and we all try to consult on all the animated figures now. So it's cool to have done most of the ones that previously it was very simple effects, like very slender stuff, but now we're trying to elevate ourselves.
So it's like so it's started and then you work with it a lot, but like since you work with it a lot, is there a chance that you still freaked out about it? You work with so much that you're desensitized. So.
It's a little bit of both. I think it's I walk through every one of the houses. Like I get to know the layouts before, and then go back to house channels before it opens. And I'll walk through with people later, and I was walking through it with somebody at some point. They like literally, even during the lights on tour and just walking through, they like grabbed my arm because they were like afraid. I'm like, nothing's gonna happen right now. I'm like, I am a little desensitized to it, but sometimes you walk up and there's another Last of Us perspective where it was one of the death scenes for Joel in the game where he was kneeling down, and like his head was being pulled open by a what? Yeah, was that sorry? Clicker? Clicker, yes. It was one of the big ones though. I forget what that one's called. A blur. So we did that, and so it came back, and they had skinned it up, put in the scenic jaw and all the head, and we're like, oh, this is so gross. And like like putting your hands into it too is just it's nasty. But it's cool. We're always like, oh, it's so gross, so we want to try it. Same thing with the Death Angels too. Were fantastic. Yeah, I don't know. The grossest has to have been the cheese though, because it has human dismemberment. But we weren't expecting that either. So it was something that was written for an original story. We had full creative control. We didn't have words, so so that's not problem. Any other questions? Awesome. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks. Thanks so much.
Well, we definitely went over, but I think everyone was just captivated. If anyone in this room would like to be part of the future show and tell, just let us know. We'd love to hear you talk about anything. You're in this room, you're the right person to give them.
Yeah.
So thank you all for coming.
Yeah, no, I think we're still open for a bit. So if people, again, I encourage if there's somebody in this room that you haven't met yet, go say hi. It's not awkward. Everybody has a name tag, so you already know their name. You're halfway to knowing them. So yeah, introduce yourself. If you enjoyed this and you want to do more stuff like this, feel free to talk to me or DJ about membership. And if you're already a member, then good job. And but yeah, and then we do this every month. So we'll be right back here in 4 weeks, and in 2 weeks we'll be here for Maker Melee, which is a lot of fun. So thank you again so much to all of our speakers. Can we do a picture with the speakers together, by the way, before everybody leaves? Then already left.
Just
But-
of the speakers
what?
or of everyone?
Of the
The
speakers,
speakers.
of the presenters that are still here.
Why don't we turn the lights on and do
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it after. I just wanted to put it out into the universe because I always forget before everybody leaves. I'd love to get pictures with the speakers. Thank you so much for everybody. And, slow light.